while you doing your doll, whatever doll it is.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another live edition of Inside the PFL. This is your host, Drac, and today I'm joined by a new co-host, semi-new, not new to hosting, but new to co-hosting Inside the PFL. It's Joe.
Hi, I'm Joe. How's it going?
Hey, how's it going?
It's certainly been a day, and it has been a week of PFL, let me tell you, Drac.
Oh, hell yeah, it has. So we are very antsy to get into it. At least I am, because I'd sort of scheduled with Mike for this to be going on at 4:30, but he is still on a hike from the sounds of it. So I hope that's going well for him, and I hope he's not in any danger or something.
No, he fell. He's 127 hoursing right now.
I hope
he's
not.
James Franco and got caught between rocks somewhere.
That would make for a really good story.
Imagine if you're the man that you also got trapped between rocks for 127 hours after they already made the movie. You're like, well, now they can't make my movie now.
Yeah, you have to up the stakes a little bit somehow. Like get a leg caught in there too or something.
Hey, you know what? That movie, 127 Hours? Oh my God, are you that guy? No. It also happened to me.
Well, without further ado, I say let's get over to the battle window.
Absolutely.
First up, we have LCD and Nijia. Can I give
big
this
battle, a big inter-Miss Mages battle.
Yeah, battle for top of the division, I believe.
You are correct.
Rightfully so, as it's the most important week of the season.
The very first note that I have here, and this applies later on, but LCD started out the season 0-2 and is now 4-2 and is leading the division. So big glow up so far for LCD's season, which I think is similar to what happened last season for LCD.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. I know I've had a few seasons where I've started off struggling and then pulled it back in the second half. So yeah, okay. We sort of didn't note this, but
we already missed a big thing here.
Honchkrow got blown the hell up.
Yeah, I don't think that there were. I mean, Manaphy probably could have come in, but for the set that Manaphy was, I mean, it is rest hydration. Maybe it could have came in to scare Alolan Marowak out, but like
maybe. But I don't know if the Flare Blitz and Poltergeist combo with a Thick Club might just kill Manaphy.
Yeah, and I mean, so speaking of Manaphy here, it's clear we see all of its moves. It's Rest, Scald, Toxic, and some other fourth move that I forget. But
Rest,
Rain Dance.
Rest of course, because it's the
Rest, Rain Dance, because hydration. So what's it doing in here for the entirety of we're in against Ferroseed for 4 or 5 turns here, just taking. And right. I understand you could rest it back, but it eventually you get to Nidoking, but it's why did Nidoking not switch in a little earlier?
Yeah, I guess not wanting Gyro Ball chip. Or maybe Nijia is just realizing that he can't win the 1v1 against Ferroseed, so he's going to wait for Manaphy to get to full health and then do the switch so that he has a clean switch in for Manaphy later. That was probably the idea.
Yeah, it seems odd to me that there was 6 or of most of the game so far has been spent with Manaphy versus Ferroseed, and then Nidoking just comes in.
And they both sort of blink on the same term, and this is super not where Clefable wants to be.
No, it immediately leaves from what I remember. Yeah, it's just no thank you.
Yep, there's some rocks. This all makes sense.
I mean, rocks are good when you got Crobat and Alolan Marowak to worry about. That's solid.
Mm-hmm.
But we get to here for this point with Manaphy, where by the time that the rain runs out here, because it's rain next, yes. So I was pondering this. Do we know? Because Manaphy dies on the last turn of rain, I believe, whenever Manaphy comes back in here.
Okay.
If you rest on the last turn of rain, does hydration not proc as the rain goes away?
I would be interested to know the order of events. Whether the hydration check happens before or after the weather check. My instinct would say it happens the ability check happens before, but I'm not totally sure on that.
Because look at the position that Manaphy's in right now, and you decide to go with Scald.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's true. I think Nijia was just thinking I need Donphan out of the way because Donphan hits a bunch of stuff on this team.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the spread was on Manaphy there. I'm not sure what the expectation was either, because a Scald in the Rain seems pretty good for Donphan.
Yeah,
Donphan could
so I think that was an AV. At least that makes sense in my intuition.
with
That would
like
be AV.
Ice Shard, EQ, Rapid Spin, something else probably.
Knock, yeah,
Knock,
something
yeah.
like that. That's a super solid Donphan set if you're going AV.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. The
Oh.
Regidrago and Clefable matchup here, which it ends up being kind of neutralized by the explosion.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting how that one all played out. I like the idea of the explosion, which has a lower, like that break.
It has 200
base power than explosion,
which is really funny. I don't know if that was the right play. Maybe it was just because Regidrago was already so low, but you don't want to be trading off mons like that when you're already 2 down. In general.
Yeah, I mean, Clefable was always going to be a problem too, and there aren't. I mean, you do still have Nidoking, is the thing. So it's tough to make those decisions. I still think that despite what the results end up being here, Nijia had a very, very good chance of still winning the game because of.
Oh, I definitely think so. Because
when we get down to Mega Diancie, because Mega Diancie's that damn good.
Right. Like maybe if it got a defense proc on these Diamond Storms, it would have completely changed the game.
Yeah, that's the exact thing I was thinking. Was it's just in my notes here. It could have
2 opportunities for it.
Yeah, after 2 Diamond Storms, you didn't get anything.
Yeah, that honestly that probably was what did it, because I think it's thick, like the Tailwind last turn.
Poltergeist is yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Poltergeist is what takes care of Diancie. I'm surprised that. I mean, do we know what other? I mean, it's probably Thick Club, like you were saying. I'm surprised that with how slow Marowak is normally, that Tailwind was able to get faster than 110.
Yeah, here. Diancie gets up to 178 and he gets up to 106, so that seems very calculated on LCD's part.
It might have been speed crept. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, you only have to speed creep for the fastest thing on Nijia's side, right? So that'd make a lot of sense. And Crobat just finishes off with Tailwind, or not Tailwind, Brave Bird.
Yeah, so a solid +2 for LCD there. Definitely a good win, but the division is not won yet, even though I believe that, with that being the rematch, did LCD beat Nijia both times? I think so.
No, LCD lost the first time to Nijia.
Nope, he won week 3 and he won week 7.
Okay.
So.
I thought that... okay, for some reason I thought this was like a week 1 rematch. Okay, well, I guess LCD just has Nijia's number.
Potentially, but so leading the division currently 4-2.
Yeah, very good stuff.
That's good.
Is that the division 16, where like everybody is 4-2?
No, that would be the Driftbloom division.
Oh, okay, Mitch's division.
Or no, I'm sorry, that would be the Dusk Noir division, where everybody except Kyle is 4-2.
Well, without further ado, let's go to the other match in the same division. Murphy and M1.
We're a ways away from Dusk Noir.
We are.
So this, spoiler alert, this ends up being a +6.
Yeah, it ends up being a +6. It was weird because it didn't feel like it was heading towards a +6 during the game.
Well, there's through a lot of this battle, I think that M1 has good matchups for certain mons. Like you see Mr. Rhyme come in a lot against Mantine in these ones here, and you'll see I think eventually we get to Graplocked comes in on Gigalith, and that kind of being like the shell game that ends up being played, where the only real answer for Murphy is to switch. And M1 has weird moments where he will play a bit more conservatively than he needs to, and it ends up causing problems.
Something I've noticed in a lot of M1's matches is that he switches a lot. Like he'll do hard doubles a lot of the time. And I don't know if it's like maybe some sort of like he's scared of a potential move, or if he's just unsure, but sometimes you just got to click a button.
Yeah. And because I can't remember who it comes in to play with Appleton here, where I think it's a turn with Grab Locked and Appleton, where everyone's just like, let me click Protect here just in case.
Yeah,
and
I do
Appleton
remember
clicks
that.
Protect that turn too, and it's just sort of like, and you end up not even necessarily wasting a turn because it would have been a Protect anyway, but like at least if you wanted to then
You could
also
have some
protect
initiative.
afterward. Yeah.
Right, and that initiative, like, it helps a lot because when Murphy is in here, when M1 is doing doubles like this, like switching in Tapu Bulu into,
and then just air slashing. There's a few. I mean, we see that sometimes you just play ahead of yourself too. You go in and you have knowledge that your opponent doesn't, but in the back of your mind you go, all right, they know why I'm here, they're leaving, and then it doesn't happen.
Yeah, it's a tough game. Like, you can very easily play yourself essentially, and which is what I did last week against Jack.
Right, sometimes you just sometimes it just happens that way. Now I like Grab Locked. Seems like there's a lot of good options for Grab Locked in these battles.
There's 4 Mons that don't want to see Grab Locks, so circle throws are very good. I mean, even Ice Punch is great. Like,
we
expecting
get good Ice
Togekiss
Punches
to come in.
too. I think it's this turn. Like, why doesn't he? I think he protects here instead of Ice Punches again. And and then Appleton.
You could at least like circle.
Protect.
You could do at least circle throw on the Protect and like make him be scared to go into Togekiss or Mantine.
Yeah, or something. Because now he just circle. I mean, circle throw's still fine, even though Ice Punch wouldn't have killed. But yeah, Togekiss comes in, and obviously that's the problem with circle throw too. Is sometimes you get bad ones like this.
Right, and circle throwing without hazards up is also kind of a problem because, like, the rocks or spike support really help with the circle throw strategy.
Yeah.
And for what it's worth, like, even though he's a Mon down, I think like the circle throw still has a ton of really good targets. Like, Graplock can come in hard on Gigalith like every time, like here.
Right, because the Rock Blast miss here, yeah. And that just gives you free reign to... Now, did he not have a fighting move other than circle throw? That's another question.
I don't know.
Because, I mean, CC wouldn't have done much against Mantine, and we see that he ends up frozen here, but the Scald...
Yeah.
the wrong Mon getting frozen, essentially.
Why does Scald, like, unfreeze the user and the target? Like, why?
Scald has to be the best move in Pokemon, right?
Yeah, it just does so many things. Like, it's a water coverage move that burns and is like 80 base power, which is like fairly high.
Yeah, there's not much reason to run it. I mean, it's what, 10 less than Surf most of the time, and the 30% burn chance is way better. And the fact that you can unfreeze yourself, like,
yeah, man, Game Freak sometimes.
I don't know. Maybe they'll bring it down to 10% or something.
Well, even if they made it like a 50 base power or 60 base power move, I think that would kind of bring it in line.
It'd still be used. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, now then it would be a utility move instead of just, I'm water type, I'm always running Scald.
Sneasel's a pretty good thing here, but instead of like continuing to use fighting moves, he goes for Protect here.
That would have been a great turn to circle throw.
That would have been another great circle throw because scouting is good when you kind of hold the keys. Like Murphy still has all 6 of his Mons, so it makes it a bit more difficult to
protect Scout like that.
Yeah, because he can just jet out of there.
Even if Murphy loses a Mon, then he's still like ahead. So there's
it's literally taking your foot off the gas.
Right.
And one had, I believe he told us that he had whatever the ground Z move is there, which obviously if you had, since Togekiss was so much of a problem, and missed Rock Slide here, that's another big problem in this one. I don't know if that would have killed Togekiss necessarily, but it would have been nice to do something to it.
It probably would. It probably depends on the Togekiss spread.
Right. And at this point, it's basically just co-signing yourself to your fate because Togekiss walked all over here. But if you went Supersonic Sky Strike on Lando, probably would have threatened it enough to where also if that Rock Slide hit from Absol, then it would have been out of your way. So
right. And Togekiss picks up 6 kills that match. Kind of insane.
It did all the work. It did what it's supposed to do. Did we move Togekiss back down to 120? I forget because it might have to go back up to 160.
I don't. I'm pretty sure we did not move it down. Like, And if Togekiss is like getting put to work like this and, gets picked in the first 2 rounds every season, even if it's by Murphy, I guess it's proven its 160 worth.
And Togekiss is still 160, and it got 6 kills there. It's near the top of the King of the Kill leaderboard as a result. So, showing out, doing well. Togekiss is a good mon.
Very much so. Yeah, well played to Murphy.
Who is surviving as well in the Miss Magus division, where he's 1 back on both Nijia and LCD, but the plus 12 would get him over Nijia if it comes to that, because they do play week 10.
Mm-hmm. And is Murphy 3-3?
Murphy's 3-3. That's right. Okay. Yes.
That's an all right spot to be in for being in a playing game potentially for the playoffs.
He is one of the wild card spots, I believe, as well.
Well, then let's get over to our third match. Bick and Dylan. And let's go. So, Crustle comes in and Shell Smashes turn 1.
Yeah, interesting choice.
Yeah. No, I mean, I love Shell Smash. It's such a cool move.
Definitely. Especially when you've got Sturdy on here. I think it ends up kind of being a bit of bad luck because is Aegislash the only mon on the squad with priority? Well, no, because Hitmonchan potentially too.
Hitmonchan can have Mach Punch. Glalie can have Ice Shard. I don't know if Crustle could one-shot Rotom. Maybe a Stone Edge could. So, I don't know. A little bit of bad luck with the Mist Willow.
Yeah, things are pretty squarely in Dylan's favor until that Mist Willow, which Grotle comes in here, or Grottle, however you want to call him, whatever you want. Who does, for Bick has a good sense of these not fully evolved mons that
are super bulky.
That can take advantage of this kind of the Eviolite. Yeah, because, not having the ground typing that Torterra has is actually very helpful.
Right, and it's a mono grass type with Stealth Rocks, which is insane.
Exactly, yes.
I also love the way Dylan's been using Glalie this season, just like running Double Edge, killing itself, and then like basically hitting Explosion when it's at low HP.
It's doing mixed stuff because it also hits Freeze Dry later too.
Yeah, for real. Dylan's been putting it to great work. I have nothing bad to say about it.
So is this where... No, okay, the Rotom trick plays later. I think that Bick realizes pretty early on that I'm guessing Rotom is Scarfed. Yeah. I would assume, because it ends up locked into some moves there. Like, it uses Protect, or Celesteela uses Protect on Rotom, I want to say twice, or someone else does, to where he can't Trick and he can't Volt Switch because either Gallade comes in here or Swampert comes in. So he played around that very well, but like the +1 knock, not doing a ton to Hat.
Yeah, Hatterene is big.
Interesting.
Hatterene is surprisingly big, so I'm also surprised to go for a bulk. He went for the bulk up because it seemed like sort of a free knock, just at the very least to scout what's coming in.
All right.
For maybe to play around in future turns, and then you have like a turn where you can switch in. God, Celesteela is so big. Too
is, Mystical Fire is like a base 60 move, isn't it?
It's not 70. Well, maybe it's 75, but still.
Guaranteed minus special attack is also incredibly good in the fact that like every fairy gets it only bolsters most fairies, because then what does Celesteela do? And here again, same kind of deal.
Yeah,
Celesteela protects.
This is probably
stop Rotom.
That's the turn where he realized Rotom is for sure tricked or locked, because he just sends in Gallade. And why are you running Trick unless you have like the Sticky Barb or something?
Which an item that you would see immediately.
Yeah.
And here he just starts Hydro Pumping, which it does a respectable amount of damage to Grow when I remember here. Okay, 23. Maybe I was wrong.
Yeah. Man, that's a 6-tap or a 5-tap. Man. And then the thing about the passive mon is that unless it has like some super strong threat, like it gets beat out by mons like Shuckle that do the rocks and webs thing. Like
this is the thing is that Grotle is technically winning this exchange right now, but it's also not doing enough damage to let Shuckle stop Shuckle from doing what it wants.
Right. And it can't really counter support the same way Shuckle can.
Right. Because through that exchange, even with the leech seed and things like that, you end up getting rocks and webs out, which end up being a big factor in the rest of the game.
Yeah, like Mega Galley definitely does not want webs. Garchomp only really wants webs if it has Scale Shot, and even then it's still behind the 8-ball, so it's a big deal.
And also you kind of end up giving momentum to Dylan here with the flip turn killing Shuckle as well.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you're not like, if that's his only move, he doesn't want Shuckle to potentially Infestation and chip down Swampert a second turn.
You end up putting yourself in a weird spot.
Yeah, he was kind of forced to kill off Shuckle in that situation, unfortunately. But yeah,
do it
freeze
again
dry.
Here? Oh no, it's just Earth Power, I think. Yeah, and that kills Glalie.
Yeah, Vic has been using Special Swampert a lot. I mean, getting Scald and the poison coverage, that makes a lot of sense. So, but it's a Swampert we don't normally see, so it's exciting.
Yeah, I love seeing Rapid Spin kill. That's great. It's just not something you ever see.
Ice Punch doesn't quite do it.
The Ice Punch is. I mean, I guess a fighting move is not gonna do a ton, but it still gives you the opportunity to end up killing here. And Ice Punch is. I mean, Ice Punch is still good against the rest of the squad,
right?
Even though it doesn't kill Grotle here.
But yeah, Hitmonchan is basically just chipping stuff down for Rotom to come in, I think. Yeah, Rotom and Aegis Slash to finish it up. And Rapid Spin actually does get rid of Leech Seed, so...
I forgot about that. When he used Rapid Spin here, I went, huh? And then, oh yeah, it's gone. Cool.
Nice. I've never seen the text de-seeded before, so that's really funny.
That's an interesting way for Game Freak to put it, but okay.
I wonder what the text in game says.
Can't just be something like, Hitmonchan spun the seeds away or something like that.
Hitmonchan de-seeded.
Hitmonchan de-seeded. I mean, at this late in the game, full health Aegis Slash is...
Oh, it's a nightmare to be staring down.
Yeah, not great. I mean, there's a good job that Bic does here, getting it down as much as possible. Because really, I mean, the game does still sort of come down to if
Dylan can hit the Hydro Pump.
Yeah, if Rotom hits Hydro Pump or not. So Grotle is definitely doing a good job just of being in the way.
Yeah, it's kind of a nightmare to deal with. Like if Crustle was still alive, for example, and there was a threat of like a potential Shell Smash, reverse sweep or something like that, that could totally change the tide of the game. But
yeah, losing Mons early, never a fun time.
Yeah, you never want to be the one playing behind the 8-ball. And yeah, look at that. Grotle just did like 65% of Aegis Slash's health just with Leech Seeds.
Yeah, just from being passive and hitting Protects and tanking Shadow Balls.
What a good Mon. Yeah.
and now it comes to Rotom, and yep, there it is. It all could have been on the Hydro Pump.
80% chance. You live and die by the misses.
So
yeah, Dylan even says Grotle was a menace.
The Dylan's win here is good, but he's only at +6, so even though being at 3-3, he is OLI outside looking in right now. So the season's not over definitely, but Manny is 2 games up with 3 games left. So it's
he's really gonna have to win out and win big to get that playing spot.
And Manny is playing Dylan week 10, so that could have implications too if Manny fumbles his 2 Conference Cup games and Dylan goes up on him. I will have to see. But yeah, because right now the +6 isn't really getting him anywhere. Bic at 2 and 4. You can't really count him out. You never know. But it's a tough spot, definitely.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough spot. I mean, Bic has the super top-heavy team with the 600 club, and then all the tiny, all the low-cost mons, and he's been putting it to good work in the matches that he has won, and even in this match.
Doing well, and I mean, Manny's only loss was to Bic so far. So if Bic were available for the battle against Manny, we could be singing a different song here.
Who knows?
Who knows? The road not traveled.
And with that, next battle, Manny's battle against Thomas.
So this battle, of course, happened during the broadcast, but was not broadcast on the broadcast.
It was simulcast.
We had a simulcast, our first ever head-to-head, and unfortunately I considered this a blackout game, and I went with Jim and Kyle instead, which we will get to. But from what I could tell, I mean, this actually was the first time I watched the match fully, was looking up what I, putting down notes for this, and it's not very exciting.
Yeah, I can put it on normal speed probably. But, I mean, the initial knock on the weakness policy is really great to stop G Moltres.
I mean, you're going to see a lot of G Moltres in this battle, and you're going to see a lot of Altaria going in around the bend. I don't think Zero Aura comes in at all. Corviknight comes in once. As Elf gets a kill, the only one that Mega Altaria doesn't get, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And, yeah, because, I like what Manny's doing with the screens and with the Berserk, like Rest, Sleep, Talk, Agility, Fiery Wrath. But
it loses a lot of the luster without the weakness policy there to help boost it. Like, just relying on the rest cycle to continually get Berserk procs. You don't have the sort of jump start with the weakness policy, so I think that's maybe the primary reason it didn't go super off, because I don't really see what Thomas has to deal with it if he had like the weakness policy proc right here.
I mean, we saw that Lantern was his electric type, and because nobody has a rock move, like Entei doesn't get Stone Edge. I don't remember.
I think it does get Stone Edge.
But like that's the thing, you're looking at either like a non-stab Stone Edge, like D-Gleam from Audino's not going to do anything.
Right.
Lantern, we saw the Thunderbolts were doing like 37% to the build that Manny had for G Moltres here.
Yep. And yeah, it's he's really insisting on it to work too. It seems.
I mean, the problem is Manny doesn't need to go anywhere. Manny's Manny's a stubborn battler, I would say. He very rarely blinks in a situation where he doesn't need to move. Like,
right.
He's telling Thomas, like, you gotta hit me. You gotta hit me. You gotta deal with this, or I'm not leaving.
And to Thomas's credit, he is playing around it very well. Like, he knows Berserk gets procced when Lantern hits a button, so he's doing his darndest to not let that happen.
Right. Trying to combine, like, he gets close, but you can't really when the Mon has rest too.
So on this turn, I think this turn is when you needed to Volt Switch or just hard out, because you know he has to rest, and if he doesn't, then something else is coming into Revenge Kill, or Toxic is just finishing it off. So I think instead of T-Bolt, you should just Volt Switch there into something that could hit G Moltres.
Yeah, because
also Manny's getting very lucky with these Sleep Talk procs.
I feel like he got rest quite a few times. And let's see, is this Stone Edge? Is this Rock Slide? Okay, so Rock Slide was really the only thing, and Mudsdale, so it's a non-stab thing, and Corviknight, it just comes in and eats it pretty easily.
Yeah. And
Wishy-Washy, Manny's favorite water Pokemon, potentially his favorite Pokemon.
Hey, Wishy-Washy's really good. I have to prep for Manny, and this thing has fucking 130 in both defenses. What the hell?
Yeah, it's a good mon.
It really is.
I think is this finally where we get a kill here with Azelf? Yeah, Azelf kills Gary.
Yeah, here it comes. Thomas tries to sort of speed up the match without thinking about what Manny's game plan is, and yeah.
Well, I mean, when are you going to expect a T-Punch on Azelf?
Yeah, that's
fair. You could, especially one that's carrying screens, like.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, but I think, is it just Altaria until the end of the game now?
I think so.
Because also, like, is it just he has to rely on D-Gleam from Mega Audino here? Or not even. He's just gonna wish.
And Manny's just gonna keep dancing.
There's no reason for him not to, because there's no immediate threat. He's at 100. The Reflect is up. I like how he has Facade specifically for
the Sacred Fires, yeah.
For Entei, for Sacred Fires. Like, look at the Ironhead doing so little there.
Yeah, I mean, granted, Reflect was up, but also Mega Altaria is huge.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's probably like just full HP, full speed, because with the Pixelate boost and the strong high base power stabs, you probably don't need all that much attack investment to just sweep like we're seeing him do right now.
Yeah.
Yep, and
Also,
there.
what kind of... Oh, no, I'm sorry, because he
Oh,
danced. I was like, why is he faster than Latias?
Yeah, he's at +3.
Yeah, he's too fast. Too fast, too furious.
Oh, Stomping Tantrum. So knock off Wish Protect Stomping Tantrum.
Did we end up seeing Protect?
No, but I think it's a safe
You can
bet.
assume it's there, yeah. I mean, that's kind of one of those... I mean, hey, if Manny had Thunder Punch and had to hit it on something like Latias because he didn't have another move, that's one of, maybe Stomping Tantrum was for the specific Zero Aura, maybe. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Special Entei, what are your thoughts?
It's bold. I guess I understand it in terms of maybe he had a better shot against Corviknight with special, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. I feel like it still doesn't want a regular Sacred Fire.
You're probably right.
I think at that point there was not much Entei could even do, so...
No, yeah.
Yeah, it even had Roost, so it was super over.
Yeah, Altaria earning its stripes, doing very well. Got into King of the Kill because of this. I think in the range of 8 kills, so it's in the 9 or 10 spot.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, considering there's 2 kills between spot 10 and spot 1, oh no, it did get 8. Yeah, okay. So who knows? Mega Altaria could be top of the pops next week.
Yeah, maybe Manny's gonna cop himself a what is it, $10 for King of the Kill?
It is $10, 10 whole dollar dues.
That'd be something. The commish winning. So yeah, very, very well played to Manny. He played patiently and he got in 3 off. He got off 3 D dances. So what are you gonna do?
Yeah, and Manny getting that win comfortably in the 1 seed right now.
Yep.
Only to be someone close behind being you for the next battle, I believe, right?
Yeah, it's me against Manny, the 2 5-1s.
Yeah.
So that's.
Well, I just mean in general, your battle is next too, right?
Yep. So let's go over to my battle on that note.
And I will let you take the lead on this one because I had very few notes because I was like, Drac probably talk about this one.
Yeah. So I was pretty concerned about a Trick Room team. I didn't expect Shinotic at all. Okay, and turn 1 I hit Fake Out, of course, because I got punished for it last week. And of course, this is the week where the read would have worked if I had just hit Psycho Cut. Yeah, I was kind of struggling to figure out my answer to this, and I thought that I probably just need to wait out Trick Room turns and then get something else in clean. So knowing that he's gonna hit Moonblast or Draining Kiss or something, I'm just gonna Roost on it and stall out a turn of Trick Room. And then I have the strong pivot into Nidoqueen.
Trick Room ended up being a pretty... I wrote tricky in my notes, which obviously, haha, Trick Room tricky. But Trick Room's always a bit of a tough thing to get around, especially when, we saw James is in a very weird speed control spot he's got now, Tailwind Kartana is gone. He junked him in favor of the Sand Core, who do pretty good things in this match, too.
And, Dracozolt and Tyranitar have fairly low base speed, so even they could be pretty scary in Trick Room. Because we see a little bit later on, there's the matchup Dracozolt is staring at Prim with Trick Room up, and I just swap out with Prim even though I might have been able to kill it, just assuming that he was min speed because Trick Room was up.
Also nice, good calculated survival there on the Poltergeist.
Yeah, that was close to max roll on Silvally actually, so. Even though I didn't calculate in game, it was safe. Yeah, so this is the turn I was talking about.
Yeah, where min speed could be on the horizon, and Serena coming in is pretty good. The subbing with very little time left in Trick Room. I forgot about this
the double miss. What a good turn. I miss Play Rough, he misses Draco. All's fair in the world.
Yeah. And even then, he only gets 42 on it? Yeah.
Yeah, Serena's big.
If he did end up getting the Draco there, he could have a crunch. He wasn't gonna hit Bolt. He was gonna hit Bolt Beak on you.
Yeah, like you can't hit Bolt Beak against the grass type really. I didn't know Barbarical got X Scissor, but I mean I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, it's a nice nice bit of coverage for it.
And here I'm finally vindicated at running Psycho Cut instead of Zen Headbutt. Doesn't make contact. He's not stealing pure power, so
I was not aware.
calculated. Yeah, I get to keep.
Psycho Cut seems like the move of the season because you're always talking about it. Jim mentions it a lot. I don't know. Something weird going on what is the Psycho Cut agenda?
Well, it doesn't make contact, so it gets around Rocky Helmet and like moves like contact moves like Poison Point, Pure Power.
Yeah. Big words, Mr. Man. What's the catch?
It's also 100% accurate, which I
right,
unlike Zen Headbutt.
I think you sold me. Yeah, because we've seen more than enough Zen Headbutts going in the wrong direction on 95% accuracy. So
yeah. Well, it's 90%, but still 90%. It feels like it misses.
9 out of 10. Yeah, 30% is 100%. Sometimes 90% is 0%.
Right. But okay, yeah. So he got stand up and he brought Draco's ult back in. We haven't talked about the match too much, but essentially, like my game plan at this point is just to wait out Sand, and then with Metacham taking care of T-Tar, like there's nothing, and with Rotom Dead, there's nothing really left to check Prim other than Draco's ult. So when we're in this position, I get to just hit Draining Kiss for free until the end of time, essentially.
Yeah, there aren't really great options to deal with Prim right now. Shinana comes in here. It's not terrible, but because Draining Kiss is neutral, it still does like 40, right?
Yeah, well, it's a 2-tap, so right. Yeah,
it does enough to where he can't really threaten you with a grass move either.
No, because I mean, I would just win the exchange because Draining Kiss heals 75%, and Prim has a big fat special D.
And also, yeah, I don't know why James took out Barbarical there in the turn where it was going to die when it came back in on the rocks. He could have still done more damage with Liquidation.
Yeah, probably. Like I think his best bet at that point was to like sack Barbarical, then bring in Draco's ult clean. But even then, I don't think that
he would have survived one move with Shinotic instead of switching it and then getting 2-tapped. So
yeah, I don't think that would have really changed the outcome.
But still, you get a solid win here. You're up to 5-1 plus 14.
Yep.
Which puts you squarely in the second seed, and James is at 1-5. I think it's fair to write out the 1-5s, maybe potentially. We'll get to Kyle. I don't know.
It would take a very like sharp turn of events for like the 2 1-5s to, or 3 1-5s to
for the 4
make it
1-5s.
Oh, there's 4. Oh,
M1 Hunter, James, and Kyle.
Ah, okay. Yeah, for any of them to make it to the wild card spot, it would take quite a bit of effort. Not impossible, because when Dan won his season, he was 4-5 in the playoffs, right?
That's right.
So it's possible.
He got through Manny and then James and then me, so he beat three former champions, to do it.
You really ran the gauntlet too.
Yeah.
Well, with that, I guess we'll go to the other match in my division, Jack against Hunter.
So, no offense to Hunter. I mean, do we need to watch all of this battle? Because it's pretty much, once again, this is a +6. And
it's a +6. It's also not...
when we get to the point where there's a party foul that happens, it's almost a non-battle at that point.
Right. I was going to say it's not like really a flashy +6. Getting rid of Girder that early is great.
No, that's definitely a good spot.
Because those Mach Punches can definitely like clean up some people.
And I don't know if we'll end up talking about it once we get to the thing here, but he has charge on Coco, which from like a James perspective of check out this cool move that I have. Cool, but I think PokeFan said in the chat, like, why didn't you just run Calm Mind?
Yeah, I think Calm Mind would have done everything you wanted Charge to do, but also just be better, because it's cool. Okay, your next Electric type attack does 2x. Okay, but it's only your next type attack, or only your next attack, and it's only for an Electric type. So yeah.
So let me ask you a question, Drac. What was wrong with that image just now?
Torn just hit Roost.
Torn just hit Roost in the middle of the conversation that we were having during the broadcast where, man, it'd be really nice if Torn got Roost. And
Hunter just hit Roost.
So I am no stranger to this happening where you just assume Amon gets a move and you're writing out your team in like Notepad or something and you put it into the system. And because we play in custom game, it did not stop him. So Roost Torn, and then Hunter just kind of falls down the stairs for the rest of the battle here, because there's at no point do I think that he has any sort of momentum that helps to carry him to any kind of like close victory or anything.
He just sort of like brings him on in, hit moves, and dies for the rest of the match. I can understand being demoralized like that too. Maybe I was one of the guys that said like, oh, we should just count Torn as dead, because that, in my mind, that seems like the most fair to both the players. Like you're not just immediately DQing, but also at the same time, like maybe maybe Hunter just didn't want to finish out the battle with Torn dead. I don't know.
It's interesting when these come up, because it's difficult to, it was at a point in the battle as well where like a DQ at turn 8 seems like just not the right call, even though that was a very much a DQable offense.
Yeah.
And I mean, it did work out for Jack. He got a +6 instead of a +0, but like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough call. Who knows? And it's also one of those things like, if all the sets have been revealed at that, or not all but like a good chunk of sets have been revealed at that point. And also there's things like, if you try to recreate the battle with Torn just having 3 moves instead of that 4th move being Roost, like what if the Leaf Storm missed on Rotomo against Girder? Like what happens then?
Right. Or any of because there was a gunk shot that missed too at some point.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's a lot happened in 8 turns, but it was still early enough in the battle that it felt like it kept going. Because you see, I mean, we're gonna get to around turn 30, I'm assuming. So it's not like Jack started boosting with something and started going to town. It was Hunter making a slight effort, but not really enough to get anything going.
Yeah, and here we see the charges.
And a Z move too, but like you're using 4x resisted Gigavolt Havoc, which still does a pretty decent amount.
Yeah, it is boosted, so that's nice. And it is electric boosted by the charge and boosted by terrain. But yeah,
so if 4x resist is hard to get around. If it hit a mon that wasn't Rotomorph Flagon or Rhyperior, it probably would have killed him.
Yeah, like if he had just hit Calm Mind and then hit D-Gleam against Rotom like that would have been great.
Probably.
And then maybe you had like the Gigavolt Havoc for the Assault Vested Muck. Like maybe that could have done something. I'm not totally sure.
Yeah, I think this was just Hunter playing around with like, ooh, let me see what I can do with charge.
Yeah, because we saw Encore and Zam, so he brought some silly sets, and we saw the Sheer Force Life Orb set on Drudigan, although I wasn't sure what his Sheer Force move was.
Yeah, Dragon Claw and Earthquake aren't exactly Sheer Force moves.
I love the Rindo Berry on Rhyperior getting around the grass.
I mean, hey, it came in handy.
Yeah.
And that's the game. So, yeah, solid +6. I don't know. Maybe we got to be more forceful about DQs in the future. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe that is like something definitely to consider.
When you DQ, you DQ. It's over.
Yeah.
When plus is so important, it's tough. But like,
yeah, in my other league, not my other league. In the other league I was in, one of my matches, somebody had Mega Blastoise, but instead they brought regular Blastoise with the leftovers by accident. And the way we played it out was okay, we'll just consider Blastoise dead. And it sort of played out similar to this, where, my opponent just sort of gave up and I ended up with a +6. So maybe it is just better for the player who messed up to just say, hey, you got to forfeit, instead of making them play it out. Because it did, that whole thing seemed kind of, I don't want to say torturous, but I wouldn't have wanted to play Hunter's team there,
Yeah, when you're on turn 8 and you're down 1 mon and you accidentally, when you're in a decent spot with Torn too, where you had the bulk
Yeah.
up and you were, if not for the need of sustainability, I was like, oh wow, Torn might do some damage here, and then Roost happens and I'm like,
Oops.
oh no. So now then all those turns were essentially a waste too.
Right.
And yeah, well, whatever.
Yep. But I mean, Jack still played well. Like,
Yeah.
not to take anything away from him.
4 and 2 plus 19.
Yeah.
Nipping right at your heels. Got to be careful about that.
Yeah. Looking at that now, I should have begged for the DQ.
And no, you both played your games already, so
it's just on me to win out, to stay ahead, basically.
Yeah, it's a boat race pretty much. Of if you fall in either your conference cup matches or against Hunter.
Yeah, Hunter is my last division game.
Yeah, then who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? I don't think you're going to end up falling out of the playoffs with the way that everything is structured here. It's not.
Yeah, probably not.
It's not going to be a 6-3 situation where your plus isn't high enough and you miss the playoffs.
I would much rather be 8-1. But without further ado, I think we can call it a wrap on this match.
Sure.
Tristan and Leibo.
Yes, we get to the conference cup battles.
Finally. So, man, Leibo's team comp where he has like the super tanky passive walls with Klefki and the glass cannons is so hard to play against. Like,
I mean, he starts with Unburdened Hitmonlee here, which is an interesting thing to start out turn 1 with, because I don't think Hitmonlee ends up getting any kills here. He just kind of ends up doing damage and dying.
Yeah,
I remember.
I mean, chipping Suicune by half is great.
Yeah, we see that he does not have knockoff for Driftblim here and has Blaze Kick. Which,
no knockoff, no Stone Edge.
Yeah, which unfortunately leads to Hitmonlee go. But I mean, he does about 100% worth of damage, which is helpful.
Mm-hmm. And your P2 getting the incorrect download. You love this special attack.
But he makes up for it by freezing on his first Ice Beam, which according to my notes, he has now left both the De Silva brothers cold.
Oh.
It's terrible, I know. You gotta laugh to keep him crying.
Like, my eyes would have rolled so far in the back of my head if I was Tristan, especially since Leibo just beat your brother the previous week. I don't want to say off the back of a freeze, but the freeze definitely helped.
I mean, very rarely is a freeze a neutral thing for you, let alone a good thing.
It's useful if like you have Scald and you're like, you kind of get, your opponent might forget about Scald or something. Like, I don't know, maybe that's the only situation where it would be good to be frozen.
I find it interesting here how this ends up playing out with, I like Relic Song Meloetta potentially as an option to take care of P2, but like you see P2 has Psychic, which puts you in a bit of an awkward spot where you can't Relic Song to deal with it.
Right. And Relic Song Meloetta is like really the only thing that's going to be faster than Swellow, so Leibo's also going to do the same thing he did against Kyle, where he just sort of patiently waits around and gets Swellow to come in and hit Boom Burst. Or even like Hurricane, Brave Bird, something.
Yeah, you get the Relic Song for the kill here.
I really like the Relic Song being able to finish off P2 because there's no risk of the counterattack.
Right. I don't know about... I mean, like, it'd be nice if... I don't know if Meloetta gets Fire Punch. You probably want Ice Punch for something like Swellow. But, I mean, you can see...
CC definitely kills Swellow, though.
It is neutral. It probably would.
Swellow is tiny.
I mean, just not having something to immediately take care of Klefki lets him get the screens up, and now Haxorus basically just wins the game.
Yeah. I said Swellow earlier, but it's any of these sweepers. Could have done it.
I mean, it does come down to like close to the end, but yeah, Haxorus does so much of the work at this point just because I think he's relying on he has to do Zerud fake outs or something like that in order to even get rid of Haxorus.
Yeah, and Haxorus behind screens is so scary because he's not tiny either. Like,
no,
the dragons are very notorious for having very good base stats across the board.
It's amazing that we let Haxorus sit at 100 points for so long.
He's 160 now, right?
He is 160 because he's a good mon, and I mean, it's sort of on the back of things like having first impression now, and general other dragon fun things. But yeah, Haxorus is a menace, and I love that he is upside down.
Yeah.
Oh wait, Leibo didn't name him with the upside down name.
Oh no! Is that a DQ? No. Is that DQ worthy?
I'm sorry, Leibo. The cool +2 you end up with here, we're gonna call that -2 actually, because you didn't put Haxorus upside down.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, the Ice Spear is enough to.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the Reflect was up that entire time too. Yeah.
So I was talking with Leibo a little bit about the prepping for this match, and Tristan doesn't have a steel or a fairy, so without those two types, it's really hard to stop hacks.
Yeah, that is true. So +2 for Driftblim there, +2 for the other one.
Dusknoir.
Yes, thank you. For that division, the two front runners for Conference Cup going at it here. I mean, we'll see what happens after next week, obviously, so that where everybody's on the same level. But
even though my division's at only a single point in the Conference Cup match, it's not over because there's still 8 matches to go. It can definitely swing around.
Exactly.
With that, let's continue with the Conference Cup. With
Jim and Kyle.
Jim and Kyle.
I think you could put this one on at least normal speed.
Yeah.
This is
outside of turn 1.
Most of this battle,
there's fireworks going off.
This now being the 4th time I've watched this battle after watching it live, watching Jim's video about it, watching it to take notes, and now watching it now. I'm tired of it. But a mon going down turn 1, especially when you've got Sash as a means to do it, is always a fun thing. And Nihiligo doesn't come in for the rest of the match either. So
nope.
It did what it needed to do. The rest of this is all just, most of this match is posturing. It's kind of Jim trying to maintain momentum while Kyle is trying to get it, and it not working out terribly well.
And this is sort of how oh, excuse me, I have a scratchy throat. This is sort of how Kyle's match with Leibo went last week. Leibo got rid of Bisharp early, and then there was nothing to take future sights, so Leibo was just slowly whittling Kyle down. And to Kyle's credit, he's being very resilient.
I mean, this is like a 65 turn game or something like that. It's a lot, or at least it feels that long. And I forget who it was that commented where we're like 40 some turns deep and only 3 mons are gone, or 1 mon is gone. Like,
jeez,
it's a lot of this where it's really like Kyle's trying to get stuff going with like getting Victini in with doing tailwinds.
Right. I do really love the tailwind play because that, I sound like a broken record. Kyle's fastest mon is base 100, but that really helps. The tailwind super helps, even if you only have tailwind for 2 turns.
Yeah,
that's a big deal.
Yeah, because I mean, it's you get Hariyama in to try to deal with Snorlax, and Gliscor comes in, and you try to get something to deal with Gliscor, and now Jim's starting to get on the offensive because he can't really deal with he can't really deal with Gligar. Tries for the all-out pummeling, thinking Gligar's going to leave, but I think Kyle realizes, no, you can't do anything to me.
Right, because I think this Gligar was spec'd specifically to deal with Lele, because I think I guess his name is James, but Jim, in his video, he talks about, he runs a calc mid-match, and it's okay, yeah, that's full Spadef Gligar. And with the Eviolite, that's very formidable, even though we know him as a big physical wall.
Yeah, does he have an ice move anywhere? I forget, actually.
I think he brought Ice Fang on Mega Sharpedo.
I think so.
I don't know if he hits it, but...
Yeah, because it's mostly just been him, hitting Yawn to try to get Gligar out because he doesn't have anything super available for it.
And that's... and Jim's tanks are big as well, The Chestnut and Snorlax combo.
Come on.
Yeah. Tristan put that to very good use last season.
And Gliscor, one of my favorites too, on my championship team. A damn fine mon. who only goes down, who because of how tanky Snorlax and Chestnut are, ends up being a Swords Dance set, which I never got to run, so I'm a little jealous.
Yeah, it's one of the benefits of being this sort of cohesive with your team is that you have multiple options for all of your mons. Like Gliscor is very tanky, but also has the physical sweeper threat as well.
Right. And we are to a point where Jim realizes that like Earthquake is the only thing that Gligar has, so it can't even hit Gliscor. And he does end up getting a nice kill with Earthquake, just so. And this could have been the end of the match if not for the Glaciate, which Jim realized immediately, like, oh no!
Yeah, he clicked cancel in his video. They're like, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna click whatever. And then he's like, wait, no, that's right. He had Glaciate, and it was too late.
Yeah,
Kyle just snap clicked the Z move.
I love when that happens.
I don't love being on the receiving end, but it's funny to watch.
No, I mean, I just being that confident in the move too, just like doing it immediately.
Oh, right, okay.
Like not even giving an inch, just going for it.
Mm-hmm. And so yeah, Bishop really can't do anything to Chestnut, right?
It's anytime Bishop comes in, or anytime Chestnut comes in, Bishop leaves. We finally get this guy in for something, and then just Jim. This is again where we're talking about. Oh, I don't need the speed boost because Mega Sharpedo is like 115.
Yeah.
So unless
he's
Tailwind was
faster
up,
than everything.
Right.
The
miss a Leech Seed. This is potentially where things can get out of hand, though, because I think also Kyle realizes that he does not have a fighting move either, so. They're kind of at a standstill here, and I forget, does he lose chest on at this point? Yes.
Yeah. And I don't think he has really anything to hit. Yeah.
It comes down to the Focus Blast hitting, which it does, and if it didn't, Jim probably would have lost.
Probably. Well, Nihilego would be faster than Bisharp, and Bisharp couldn't hit Sucker Punch because of terrain.
Oh, true.
So depending on what moves Nihilego had, maybe. Like, obviously, if it was coverage, like, it wouldn't, but I don't know. It could have turned out super differently. Like, I totally believe a plus 4 Sucker Punch would kill Mega Sharpedo.
Oh, definitely. And even with the, like, Snorlax was kind of low at that point because it wasn't a rest variant. So it was, a very good win for Jim, though. A 4 for Drifblim, which it needed. And
I think that puts his division at the top of the Conference Cup.
They're tied, actually.
Oh.
Jim at 3 and 3 plus 10, also something that he needed because now he is ahead of Tristan, or at least tied with Tristan, both of them at plus 10.
Okay.
3 and 3 plus 10. Dan at 4 and 2 plus 10, who we'll see Dan soon-ish. I forget if he's last or if he's next.
He's last.
And Kyle is 1 and 5 in a sea of 4 and 2s. So I don't want to count Kyle out because I've seen what the man can do.
Mm-hmm. But it's looking tough.
Yeah, it'd be a very big. He'd have to do a lot because he is the 19th seed currently, and he'd need to jump 8 seeds.
Yeah, you have to win everything like by +5 and +6, and you also probably need some sets of like losses to happen in your favor.
By a fair amount, yeah.
Yeah, I believe that wraps up this game. Oh, and we have the other conference, like the second to last Conference Cup match, Mike and Dave.
Mike and Dave, a match that also kind of comes down to one person playing a little too passively when they should have been aggressive because they were on the back foot, which, I mean, we'll get there, of course. But
banded fake out. Ouch.
You see right off the bat. So Incineroar is a giant problem throughout all of this match. And Mike gets him down to like 6%, but it's still like you need to kill, unfortunately. Like that's you can't leave Incineroar alive, and that's what happened.
Okay, so Mike hits Heavy Slam here. He really needed to get Rocks out, or at least like not let the free Banded Flare Blitz happen.
Mike was a little scared of Frostmoth there, and I would be too, I think. But yeah, Rocks were his only Rocks. Before the battle, when I was talking to him about his team and he needed a 4th move for Cinderace, I was thinking like, why don't you put Court Change on there? So that'd
be cute.
because just in case you don't get rocks up, he's like, I got rocks on her to steal. I'm fine. So, well, unfortunately, banded Flare Blitz is a little too powerful.
Right. Like, what is even the switch in? Drampa probably gets 2-tapped. I mean,
that's the thing. I think he needed to let something die there. Sort of his best option for Incineroar because of the Intimidate, and we see that it's often like throughout the match, Luxray is the mon that he goes into when Incineroar comes out. But
I love the Dragon Tail to stop the agility. I don't even know if that's what Mike was thinking was going to happen, but Dragon Tail.
No, Mike just likes Dragon Tail.
Yeah, he has asked about phasing a couple times. Are there any fun mons with phasing?
And even then, you see, I mean, Fake Out doing pretty decent.
Oh yeah, like I think Incineroar hits 6 Fake Outs this match.
It hits a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, Incineroar is definitely the MVP of this match.
Because the rocks here, I think he went with Taunt on Cinderace instead of Court Change. But hey, Court Change would have been fun.
Its super would have been helpful here. I guess it wouldn't be helpful because it also changes screens. That would be pretty bad with the Reflect up.
I mean, late in the game, I don't remember if there was
the
Reflect still up, but either way.
But I could understand not running it because of that.
Yeah, finally we get a good double here too when he knew that Incineroar was not staying in. Right. And we get, I mean, Drampa doing very well with its 135 special attack.
Oh, eject pack again. I didn't mention it in my game, but James ran eject pack overheat on Rotom, and like it's super clutch. Like you have a super strong stab move, and then you also get to switch out and not be punished for the drop in special attack.
If Mike went for a water move here, like there's no reason for him not to, and it leaves he hits the non that it is a stab move, the not very effective move, and
Dark Pulse.
Yeah, leaves Incineroar at 6%, which is exactly how much it needs to win the game.
Mm-hmm. Because I think Metagross was in at the same time. I don't think he really would have even lost anything by hitting Hydro Pump.
No, or even Water Shuriken if he was scared of. Well, I don't know why he would have been scared of Bullet Punch.
Well, he said after the game that he didn't have Water Shuriken.
Oh, whatever. Even though, if he hit a water move, there's no mons on the team like Dragapult still probably would. Maybe it's because of Seismitoad.
Seismitoad, yeah, that has to be it. Like,
I mean, like, Water Absorb is only 25%. Are you really gonna let that define you? Come on. Don't be scared of Water Absorb. Especially if the mon's already at like full health.
Mm-hmm. And also, like, he still had good switch-ins. Like, Meganium can always come in on Seismitoad anyway, so...
Right, yeah.
Sometimes you got to think about, like, multiple turn combos and not just, like...
Here's where it happens. Mike thinks that Dave is going to go, Cinderace says Sucker Punch, and leave, and Mike doesn't use Sucker Punch, so he U-turns and trying to play ahead of himself when he is down a mon.
Right.
And in desperate need of killing Dragapult, because Dragapult kills Meganium here too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like if he hit Sucker Punch there, maybe it would have been different. Maybe he could have had something for Incineroar too.
Yeah, because if he had Meganium, then like it could always just come in on Metagross and hit like a screen or both screens potentially.
Right.
I think it's big enough to live like one thing from Metagross.
And now he's kind of forced with Greninja to just hit Hydro Pumps or hit Dark Pulse here and then does Hydro Vortex.
Yeah, because if Dragapult was dead, Dave would not have the like resources on Mons to just sack fake out.
Right, exactly.
Which is the win con, right? Because nothing else is faster than Greninja at this point.
Yeah, that's what happens here. Because we see the fake out, which amazingly doesn't kill as well.
It does so much. Yeah, but like non-stab fake out doing a third.
Yeah. The Dark Pulse kills Metagross here, and then it's all over.
It's all she wrote.
So a solid 1 for Dusknoir here, enough to again have them tied at 14 in the Conference Cup right now. Dusknoir only getting 3 from their victories, so they were close shaves, while Drifblim got 6, brought them both to 14. So that's where we stand. And Dave is also currently
He's the leader of the division, right?
Yeah, 4-2 plus 16.
Very good stuff to him. Like, Bandit Incineroar was such a menace. Like,
It
okay,
did.
yeah, 2 flare blitzes and 6 fake outs.
It's the reason that it is at the top of, well, it shares the top spot of King of the Kill this week.
Mm-hmm. Like, very, very well played by Dave.
Agreed.
On to Dan and Mitch's match. And I'll hit a play.
All right.
So, at the start of this, it doesn't super look like Mitch has a lot to deal with Vileplume. It just seems like a Raichu and Starmie, right?
I did write in my notes that the first thing I put was Vileplume was something of a menace this game since it handled a lot of what Mitch brought very well. But then Vileplume is dead by like turn 11, so I just erased Vileplume and I wrote Reuniclus.
Yeah, because Vileplume seems like it would do very, very well against most of this lineup. And then he has, like Dan, not Dave, has like AV on who's this Dracovish, like in the back pocket to deal with the 2 big special threats that deal with Vileplume. So he seems like he's in a really good spot.
Yeah, and I think that we end up seeing here that...
I don't know why he didn't hit Sludge Bomb again.
Who knows? But Mitch trades Pincurchin for Comfey here, essentially. Mm-hmm. And he probably shouldn't have. I mean, Comfey, obviously, with Trio can be problematic, but like without the electric terrain and the, a Raichu, it being very situational in terms of or not being situational, I should say, compared to something like where you could just be really fast whenever. And I mean, the AV is definitely helpful for Kovish because it immediately kind of like we found out during the broadcast that a Raichu has 95 special attack, not a lot at all.
95 special attack. It really relies on the Life Orb and the Nasty Plots to get going. But I mean, with multiple turns of electric terrain, it can be super scary. And wow, to Dan's credit, he just does not blink in the face of, anything that Raichu might be hitting against Reuniclus.
Yeah, he thought, I mean, it would have been, I like Psychic as an option there just because it would have been very safe to send a Powdon on the last turn where it would have been dead via Sand anyway. So yeah, it just ends up, it put Mitch in a very odd position no matter what.
Right. And now we see, because it turn 12, Vileplume is down just by switching into the moves and being chipped. So
yeah. Wigglytuff coming in here.
Frisks the AV.
Takes the Fish's Rend quite well, too. And
it's not taken to it even after the berry proc, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Although Protect is nice to wait out the sand turns. That's something...
if only there was still alternatives. Does he switch? No, he could have switched to Tangrowth, too, potentially there.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, I wonder what... Maybe Mitch just didn't see a plan for Wigglytuff with, Hippowdon, Lucario, and Reuniclus across the field.
I think we see it later that Tangrowth takes Officious Rend, and at maybe 40%, enough so that it wouldn't have been too bad to get some Regenerator health back later.
Because it's worth pointing out that he's not Strongjaw. He is the Sand Rush set. So Vicious Rend it still gets the double boost for going first, but it's not that much stronger.
It's good, but it's not as good.
Right. I think Strongjaw kind of pushes it over the edge. But I mean, when you've got the Sand team, going first is better a lot of the time, so...
Yeah. I mean,
especially when you're staring down a bunch of 2x Mons with Hawlucha and a Raichu.
Right. It feels to me Reuniclus is the Mon that stops Tangrowth here, which is the problem. Because Reuniclus is the Mon that stops everybody except for Crook, who is at 12%.
Yeah, Crook's at 6%. It's dead to rocks.
Toxic.
Yeah.
Right. So not in a super great spot for it. Especially when, Reuni is played very well here with you do Magic Guard recover, and when you've got decent switches on Mons that Crook will not kill immediately, it's tough to get rid of.
Right, because anytime Crook is in, like, Hippowdon can just come in, and it's that big fat physical wall. Even if, like, okay, you knock off the Smooth Stone or whatever it is that increases the sand duration, it's still gonna live a hit, and then it's threatening you back with EQ, or even like slack off and just staring at you in the face.
Right.
And it's like Crook does not deal with chip very well.
Now, could Crook have run pursuit?
Crook does get pursuit.
Could have. So maybe, I mean, they're not going to play each other again, presumably, unless it's the playoffs. Maybe something to think about is, I mean, knock is obviously a very good move.
Mm-hmm.
But you know,
I think in the case of
pursuit on there.
Yeah, I think in the case of Crocodile specifically, like having both knock and pursuit, they're strong utility stabs. So I think you wouldn't really lose a lot by running both stabs.
No, I mean, if you run both of those and EQ, and your fourth move is what?
Rocks,
is
like
crunch? Is rocks? Yeah, like.
Okay, so yeah, rocks, knockoff, EQ, taunt. I that's a strong set.
Taunt is solid. That's another thing. Like, early in the game, we missed it. He did not hit taunt immediately on Vileplume, which would have stopped it from strength tapping him, which would have been nice.
Yeah, I think I wonder that matchup against like Crook v Vileplume is interesting because Vileplume could definitely just be clicking Giga Drain over and over again. So.
Right. Does Stormy finally get something going? I guess, yeah, with he only has Shattered Psyche for it, but he's still, or no, does he end up killing Reuniclus here?
I don't quite remember.
I thought this match ended up as a +2, but now I'm trying to remember how we get there.
Yeah, I don't, okay, like max turn sleeps on Reuniclus,
okay.
That definitely helps.
Yeah, so the Surf must kill here. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So now all of a sudden, like the Mon that's supposed to deal with Tangrowth is gone. However, there's the additional problem where there's 8 turns of sand you have to deal with.
Yeah, I it comes down to Outrage being the factor in what beats Tangrowth, but yeah, because I mean the AV is here to stop the D-Gleam, because I like that's the Strong Jaws not being a thing because that crunches should be deadly.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, with the Sand Sweeper.
Oh yeah.
You're also sort of spoiled for choice. Like, why the hell does it get Sand Rush and Strong Jaw? Especially with its signature move, Vicious Rend, being a bite move.
So, yeah, another thing is he didn't get, like, a good... If Tangrowth was at 100% health, this would have been a bit different.
Mm-hmm.
Because he didn't take advantage of Regenerator as much as he could have, I think.
Yeah, there's lots of tricky stuff you can do with Regenerator, like put somebody in, then swap out again to sack, and then you bring them back in, and all of a sudden, like, okay, they've just got 2/3 of their health back now.
Yeah, Tangrowth might have been enough to... I mean, I don't know what Outrage would... I mean, 29's solid, but if the roll was like 35 or something like that for Outrage, then it would have been... And if he had
Vicious Rend
Protect potentially, too.
Vicious Rend did 23, so, like, Outrage is... Yeah, 35 seems about right. So
yeah, if he played Tangrowth a bit better, I think that would have been either a closer game or potentially a win. Because I mean, Lucario's fine, but it's also it can't.
It's also the physical set against the physical defensive Tangrowth.
Well, we assume it could be mixed.
Yeah, Life Orb, E-Speed is all it clicked. So yeah, we don't know. But yeah, that's our last match. Dan with a solid +2 over Mitch.
And he is in the driver's seat of his division. 4-2 +10, like I said, tied with Jim and Tristan in terms of plus at least, but one game up on them. Does he play either of them week 10? He plays Tristan week 10, so
that'll be fun.
That could be for a playoff spot, if depending on.
Right, depending on the way the rest of these weeks go.
Yeah, the Conference Cup games go.
So with that, let's take a look at the standings. You have been talking to us all about the standings as the games have been going by. But now let's look at them all at once. So the tops of each division: LCD, top of Miss Magus; Dan, the top of Drifblim; Manny, the top of Jellicent; myself, Drac, at the top of Gengar, and Dave at the top of Dusknoir. So Dusknoir is the 4-2 division I was thinking about.
Yeah, they're all very close, and everybody in Drifblim's very close. Miss Magus, pretty damn close. You got to worry about Jack. Manny's the only one who's kind of riding comfortably right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Manny comfortably at the top of Jellicent, and then it's a toss-up for everybody else. It's super a toss-up for Dusknoir because Dave's got the big 5+ lead ahead of Mitch and Leibo, but, since there's still 3 more games to go in the season, right. It could totally turn around.
A lot of things can happen.
And so let's look at the playoff picture then. Let me find the tab. There we go. So yeah, like I said, the leads of the division, Manny's comfortably at the 1 seed. I'm the 2nd seed. Dave and LCD are tied for the 3rd and 4th seed. Dan's at the 5th seed. And our 6 wildcard spots: Jack, Mitch, Leibo, Nijia, Murphy, and Jim.
And keep in mind, of course, Jim and Tristan are tied. So yes. I kind of had to put Tristan on the OLI right now. Outside looking in just because he lost and Jim won this week. But it'll be more scientific once we get to the playoffs if it comes down to it.
So if Jim wins both of the head-to-head matches and they end up with the same record, would that just qualify Jim over Tristan? Okay.
That would be how that goes. And they split. So Jim won week 1 and Tristan won week 5. So
right.
so we'll see.
Would it go base? Well, I guess we'll get there if we get there, but would it go on plus?
Plus is the main factor, but I think then...
Well, I mean, plus between their matches.
Oh, I'd have to ask Manny about it. I don't know. what it comes down to. We might do strength of schedule. We'll see.
That would be a complicated one. I think if they split the games,
it might just be who got the bigger plus then.
That does make the most sense.
Which Jim got +2, and I bet Tristan also got +2. Let me see.
I think one of them was a +1. I think Tristan's win was a +1 because there was the icicle crash miss at the very end.
Right. So yeah, I think that's what that's going to boil down to.
Yeah, interesting stuff.
It was a +1.
Tristan and Dylan are still technically the 12 and 13 seed, but at 3 and 3, it definitely can still shape up in their favor.
Right. It's the 2 and 4s and the 1 and 5s that are going to have problems. If at 6 losses, I think I can definitely put you as out of contention. But
yeah, at 6 losses, yeah.
The 1 and 5s though are teetering on the edge, and they gotta do something.
Yeah, well, at least they can play Ruiner though, even if they've given up on their season. Yeah.
That's always fun.
Well, let's look at King of the Kill. So we've got very close, I gotta say. The previous 2 King of the Kills did not feel like this.
A lot of them were boat races, pretty much. Yeah, it was Mega Absol, and the season before that, I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was a lot. It was...
Yeah. Like, I think Mega Absol and Dragapult won it last season, and they both sort of...
Oh, yeah, they tied, too. I forgot about that, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so we've got Crook and Incineroar tied for first. Then big ol' 5-way tie for third between Togekiss, Clefable, Lele, Bulu, and Gengar. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's still only 1 kill behind first place.
And then, like I said, yeah, the 8 through 10, and there's more than that. There are only put 10 on the thing here.
I would have guessed there's more Mons with 8 kills, but as far as the doc is concerned, it's Mega Altaria, Hippowdon, and Nidoqueen. The only Mons with 8 kills. Only ones. No others.
So, yeah, I mean, there's obviously pretty big reversal of fortune. We could have a game like this week where Togekiss gets all 6 kills. Mega Altaria got 5 this week, like I think we saw. So 2 names that are showing up big. A lot of fairy types, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fairy types.
And
in
the dark
top
types
10.
are sharing the top.
Yeah, 2 dark types up top.
2 ground types.
Yeah, Hippowdon, Nidoqueen, and then just the odd man out with
Gengar.
Gengar. Not sharing a type with any of the other ones here.
Oh no, it shares poison with Nidoqueen.
Oh no, true. Okay.
Look
So
at all
never
that
mind
type
then.
synergy we have.
All right, if you want to get a Tapu King of the Kill, get a ground type, get a dark type, get a fairy, get a poison.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. So let's finally look at the Conference Cup standings. So we have Miss Magus still at 4. We really only have to talk about Drifblim and Dusknoir. Drifblim picked up 6 this week. Dusknoir picked up 3 points. And they're both tied at 14.
Yeah, normally we'll get there when we get there with the week 8, because that's, where everybody will have had their battles. It's definitely not out of the woods yet, like you were saying, because, even just like 2 plus 5s in a victory can move the needle quite a bit.
Very much so. Like, there's still there's still 8 more Conference Cup games for my division and for like Jellicent and Miss Magus. So even though like we're behind right now, like we still got a lot of ground to make up. We've got more games to go than Drifblim and Dusknoir do.
Right, exactly.
So let's talk about trades and pickups then.
A few trades and pickups happened.
That's right. So Mike, he made some big changes. He dropped Arctivish, Greninja, and Golurk for Mamo, Keldeo, and Umbreon.
Which is a solid change, I think. This was one of those things where Mike was kind of umming and ahhing, dropping Arctivish for a while because he needed it for...
Because he fought Dan with Dracovish.
Dan, right. So he needed to deal with Dracovish. That was the best option for it. Mm-hmm. And he was like, oh, who should I get? Should I get this ice type? And I was like, Jim dropped Mamo. And he just like slapped the money down on the... Yeah, it was just like, you know what? Give me Mamoswine.
Hey, and you know what? Mamoswine is another rocker as well. So he's not... If he runs into a situation like this week where... it just gets banded Flare Blitz, then he's got a backup potentially.
Yeah, he wanted a more powerful special attacker, and Keldeo was pretty good at that. Yep. Not quite as fast as Greninja, of course. He didn't have a fighting type either, I don't think, before this. So, also something that he was looking for.
I guess the only fighting type is when Cinderace changes with high jump kick.
Right. And he still was like clawing for wish support after getting Florges and being incredibly disappointed by it. I don't know why. Florges is a good Pokemon. I always go on record saying that. And picked up Umbreon, who, while on my championship team, not my favorite Mon. It's fine.
Umbreon is quite passive.
It very much is. Yes.
Well, I think all the wish passing Mons are quite passive, with the exception like maybe Kangaskhan.
Kanga's a good wish passer. Mike had Kanga 2 one season, but was like, no, I don't want to use him. Give me Mega Gym.
Mega Gym's super good. Like, normal fairy is such a good type.
But also pretty passive.
Yeah, also very passive. So I wonder what Mike is going to be doing with Umbreon. I'll be interested to see. Synchronize, obviously, super annoying.
So, yeah, a fun thing to have. But yeah, Keldeo stays the co-captain as well, the spot that Greninja had, because it can blow stuff up.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I hope he uses them well. All right, next one we have is Thomas, who made 2 changes. He dropped Gyarados and Sirfetch'd for Tapu Fini and Hitmontop.
Thomas has made me change the Mon on his card, the main Mon on his card, twice this season, which has never happened before, and I'm not a fan of it. He started with Kyurem, as we all know, 4th overall, decided to junk Kyurem in favor of dropping it for Latias, I believe. Hasn't done much with Latias. Gary was sort of his main guy, his super dude, wanted Fini, so he had to drop Gyarados, so now Entei is the main Mon on the card. At least he has chosen Mons that had backgrounds already in Gyarados and Entei.
Well, that is nice.
That makes it a bit easier.
I don't know how I feel about this. I do like Hitmontop for Sirfetch'd. Like, Hitmontop's got the extra support. He's got Intim, potentially a Technician Bullet Punch, Rapid Spin.
Sirfetch'd was only there for Aegislash, I believe, and Thomas has had both of his battles versus Dylan already, so Hitmontop is an upgrade in my mind. I don't love Fini. He wanted Fini.
Yeah,
Eh.
that's what I was gonna say, is that it's sort of doubling up on the bulky waters when Gyarados is a super threatening sweeper. And you could even have like that double in Timcore with Hitmontop and Gyarados, which would be super hard to work around. So
He gave
I
me a
don't know.
specific mon for who Feeney was good for. I forget who it was.
Well, let's not
Team.
reveal it. Let's not,
Of
tech
course. It was
spoil.
just, it was a calculated move
Okay.
of Feeney does more for me than Gary at this point, I guess. Which, who knows? Maybe it'll turn out pretty good, and we'll
Yeah.
be eating our words.
And Tapu Fini is the main Z captain, so we could be seeing some shenanigans with the Z crystal.
Z Nature's.
Yeah, Z Nature's Madness does 75% max HP. Very
You're
deadly.
damn right it does.
It's deadly unless they hit something like Recover or Soft Boiled.
Or a mon that is already at like half of it.
Yeah.
It's a fun turn one move that I've done before,
Mm-hmm.
but still ended up making me lose. I had Coco at the time and I lost Coco in the battle, but at least I got to do it.
So our last trade is Jack, who dropped Primeape for Doublade. So he no longer has a fighting type, but has gained a steel type, which he didn't have previously.
And we were talking about what with Leibo and Tristan, where a steel type is important. You need it.
Yeah, when I was prepping for Jack, I almost brought Dragonsteel Valley just because Jack didn't have a Farrier of Steel, but decided against it because of the Z Parting Shot utility. But
yeah, Doublade is a mon that came up with Manny and I recently in terms of Manny was very much like, why is this mon tier 4? Well, this thing sucks. It's terrible. And then he saw 140 defense and he was like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, 140 defense with the Eviolite. Honestly, pairing that with a Muck on the specialty side, that's pretty good.
My
Not a
only
lot
problem,
of recovery, but that's very bulky.
Another big problem I have with Doublade is it is a mon with can't take advantage of it, so it's only a downgrade for it, or like a not. It can't take advantage of it at all. It's only going to get hit by moves 100% now.
Oh, no guard, yeah.
Yeah, instead of hitting moves 100% because it has none. Like it's got a move that's like 85% or something. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, let me quick look at Doublade. What is, because I completely forgot about his ability, like being no guard. Yeah, that is garbage. Why would they give him no guard? Metal Sound, 85%. Okay.
Metal Sound and Swagger. Swagger a move that we cannot use.
Yeah, so like no guard Rock Slide is great. Okay. But you're getting hit by Fire Blast 100%. So good
no
stuff.
guard Screech.
Ooh.
No guard Dustin Diamond. Saved by the Bell.
Okay, so the last thing on the docket is the Commish Picks. And since Mike is indisposed, you're going to pick for Mike.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, you're going to pick for Mike.
Oh, and you and him are still tied.
Nice. Yeah, we're still tied. We did poorly in the first half of the season, but we both got 7 right in the last week.
Not bad.
All right, so first match, Tristan against Mike. I'm going to go with Tristan.
Mike, I know, is a confident man at heart. He's a man who gets it done. He gets the job. Mike, I'm going with Mike.
You're going with Mike, okay. Not Mike 26. Go just Mike. Jim and Dan are up next. Ooh, I would have to look at the match on paper before deciding, because with Jim's new changes, that could really get in the way with like Dracovish and stuff. I think I'm gonna go Dan though. I think I'm still gonna go Dan.
You know what? Jim's been all about splitting the uprights this season. He lost to Dan week 3. This is the revenge week on week 8.
Ooh, okay.
Going with Jim.
All right, Jim it is. Leibo against Dave. So last time, Dave had the epic +6 Incineroar weakness policy sweep against Leibo.
Yes, he did.
I doubt that's going to happen again, but Dave's team is still super scary. He's got a very strong core, but Leibo has the insane stall team, so it's tough to call. But I think I'll give it to Leibo. this time.
I almost heard the D coming out of your mouth there. I'm sticking with my gut. I'm going to go. He's been pretty much
You cut out when you said the name.
unstoppable.
Did you say Dave?
What?
Did you?
Oh,
You
yeah,
cut
yeah, I
out
said
when you
Dave.
said the name. Okay, Dave.
Yes, excuse me, Dave. He's been pretty much unstoppable in most of his wins. He had to chop and fight to get a big win over
Mitch.
Mike this week. That's right.
No, he
excuse
lost.
me.
He lost to Mitch. Never mind. Yeah, Mike.
And Mike's good as well, like I was saying. So I think that it's not going to be a +6 like last time, but I think that Leibo's going to find himself in a bit of a tough spot again.
Okay. Now, Kyle against Mitch. So Mitch, we all know, took the first one.
Yes, he did.
I think even with Kyle's, man, I'm thinking about the match on paper, and Mitch's team looks so good, but I can't in my heart say Mitch, so I'm gonna say Kyle.
As hilarious as it would be to have Mike pick for Mitch when he's no, I am gonna do that. No, it's
You're picking Mitch?
I am picking Mitch here just because Mike would never pick Mitch, and
Okay.
that's how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna buck trends, and I've been incredulous every single time this season. I've been like, wait a minute, Mitch beat who? So
It's
Even though I
time to
might
stop
be-
being incredulous and start to take Mitch seriously.
even though I might be cursing him in the process, I'm picking Mitch.
Okay. We got LCD against Bick. I think I'm gonna give it to LCD. It's not to say that Bick's not strong, but maybe there's like certain Bick doesn't have the time to like put into Mons. I think LCD will have the edge.
That is pretty much how I'm feeling about it as well. As fun as it is also to pick the pick that you aren't picking, I got to go with LCD on this one. I can't keep the meme up for that long.
You still got to pick with your heart.
I got
All
to,
right.
yeah.
Murphy against Jack. Well, that's my conference cup match, so I'm picking Jack.
I want to see Murphy take this one.
Ooh,
I do.
Okay.
I think that it's kind of not his last opportunity necessarily, but in the other conference cup matches that we're seeing with if LCD gets the pick and Nijia gets the win over Hunter next year, Murphy needs to win. So I'm gonna give him some spirit bomb power.
And there's something interesting. I looked at the match a little bit. Murphy's team had like all of his tanks have insane recovery, so that might put Jack on the back foot a little bit. But Jack also has the incredibly deadly sweepers. But then again, so does Murphy with Excadrill. So who knows?
Finally get to use them. I think that Excadrill's been sort of on the back burner most of the season. He's waiting to get tagged in.
Yeah, like Murphy's strategy has just been going between like, well, he had Lapras, but it was like Lapras and Appleton and Togekiss, and then they were just pivoting around and switching into everything, and so
right,
he just wins off of chipping his opponent down quicker because they can't outdamage his recovery. But we'll see what Jack's answer is to that. Nijia against Hunter. I got to go Hunter because it's, again, my conference cup match.
Oh, well, I mean, then I don't feel bad about Nijia. I thought that
okay.
A bit of a sweep. Again, no shade to Hunter or anything. He's got a pretty solid team, but Nijia also in the same spot needs to keep up with the winning here. So
the pressure's
I got to give it to Nijia. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, M1 and Thomas. I think I'll give it to M1. Like M1, he's had his games, they don't look close, but he has like good plays and sometimes and stuff. Like I think he can do it. Sorry, that didn't mean to sound condescending, but I think he can do it. I think if he's got his head in the battle, he can do it because he has a very strong team.
I agree. I am going to go with M1 as well because Thomas he's struggling seems like the wrong word for it. It's a lot of his battles. There doesn't seem like there's a lot of not even aggression. There's something missing in a lot of the battles that I've seen from this season.
Not a lot of cohesion, you think?
Potentially, yeah. And I mean, the changes could definitely help with that he made, but I don't know. I guess we'll have to see.
I'm one asking why I'm doing this to myself. Picking you? It's because you're going to win. That's why.
Yeah.
All right.
Agreed.
My match against Manny. I'm picking myself, of course.
I got to pick Manny.
Ooh, all right.
Manny's
Picking
been
Manus.
doing very well this season.
sure.
Being a new dad has given him super Pokemon powers.
So
So
has he just like when he I don't know if he has a like what his job situation is or anything. Does he like take care of his kid and run Pokemon calcs on his phone all day? Is that what he does?
last time I checked, I think Manny's a teacher. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
So I don't. You'd think I'd know this about some of my closest friends, but we play Pokemon together. You know, I'm not gonna ask. Oh, how's the job going? I'm gonna ask him. Calc with.
We've just become Pokemon.
I think that it's pretty safe bet for Manny. I think not that you're doing very as well this season, but
I see.
I gotta create some. It's host on host crime here essentially. I'll make it. Look, this is Mike's pick. This isn't my pick. I'm channeling Mike right now.
You're channeling Mike. Okay.
If I were channeling Mike, I'd pick the exact same people you picked. So.
Okay. Well, you would not pick Mitch. So...
Also true. I'm channeling anti-Mike.
Oh, all right. Imagine you just get all of them wrong for Mike. Anyway, last match, Dylan against James. Again, my conference cup. I'm going James.
I gotta go Dylan because, I mean, as much as I like James, he's got a champion, a lot of crazy shit up his sleeve. It does not always work out for him. So
not always.
And Dylan kind of needs to, again, stay ahead to keep pace with Manny, because if he loses here and Manny ends up getting the win, even if both of them lose here, Dylan needs a win to just stay close to Manny, even if Manny loses to you. So Dylan needs the win.
Yeah, Dylan, he definitely needs the win because he's at that precarious 3-3 spot where
exactly
like
that
a win really helps him and a loss really hurts.
Yeah, not even just for winning the division purposes, just for staying within earshot of
striking distance.
Yeah, of the wild card. He needs it, so I got to give it to him.
All right, very exciting stuff coming up. This might be the most contention we've had in the Commish Picks all season.
Yeah,
like, I think we only agreed on 2 matches.
Yeah, because I mean, listening to some of these Commish Picks, Mike, you same opinion as you, so he doesn't understand how to be a showman.
Well, maybe he'll be taking notes when he hears this. Hopefully, with both of his arms.
Yes, I agreed. So I just want to bring it back around a second because I have a feeling that we're getting to something here, and it's not something I've pondered in a while. But
okay.
But Drac, going into week 8 here.
Yes.
Is it the most important week of the season?
It absolutely is the most important week of the season. And thank you, co-host, for asking me. It's a nice change of pace. Yeah, it's absolutely the most important week of the season. We already talked about how, like, Jack is right on my toes. I got to keep winning to stay ahead because he's got that huge plus advantage on me. Like, we talked about Dylan's match just now. He's 3-3. There's so many more 3-3s that are in this precarious spot where they just got to keep winning. And like we already know the 4-2s are definitely not safe because if it keeps going the same way, like some 4 and 5s are not going to make it in. So it's the most quintessentially important week of the season. It has so many playoff implications, and it's a huge conference cup week.
And it's the last week for trades and pickups too.
Oh, so that's right.
Rosters will be locked after week 8. You gotta, if this is usually their deluge, an avalanche, people start making their playoff teams. If they see someone like a Dan who's got Dracovish there, I wouldn't be surprised if you see any of the water absorb bonds that are still available get taken off the board, because just in case you run into them in playoffs, might be worth having.
Definitely a consideration. Dracovish is nothing to be trifled with. So with that, I think we can call it to a close to this broadcast. Thank you so much, Joe, for joining me on short notice and filling in for Mike.
No problem.
And thank you to the viewers and the PFL League players.